Trudi Sully, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Kudos in Construction.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. So I won't ruin your introduction, just to let people know that you are the Impact Director at the Construction Innovation Hub, and you're featured on our Kudos in Construction list, hence why you're here today. So first of all, from everybody in the industry, thank you for everything you do and are doing. I want to dive straight in with the most important question today, and that's give us an interesting fact about yourself.
Well, not so much a fact, but perhaps a pastime hobby. I've always been quite keen on DIY, perhaps first out of necessity, but in last year's lockdown, we decided to take it to a new level. I bought a panel van and converted it into a camper.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was my major lockdown project.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. It like campers aren't really my thing. More of a hotel kind of person, but just love that. That's brilliant.
It was really good fun, actually, and a total distraction, which I think was a very welcome pastime last year.
Yeah, that's really cool. Labor of love, I suppose, as well.
Yes.
With that laugh, we know there was a few
Oh,
technical difficulties along the way that you overcame, and now you've got what you want.
blood, sweat, and tears, and quite a bit of swearing, but it was great.
They're the best projects. Fantastic. Right. Let's, on a more serious note, let's dive into your background. Have you always been interested in innovation?
I think it's more by default than design, perhaps, but I've always been curious, generally a curious person, and I've always liked to see how things work and how things are made. And then I spent 10 years earlier on in my career working as a health and safety inspector across a whole range of industries. So I got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But what I loved about that job was actually helping organizations to look at what their challenges were and how they could overcome them through making realistic changes. And then I moved directly into innovation in terms of supporting that by working at Innovate UK. And then I managed to hop on to this side of the fence, if you like, in terms of actually being involved in a project all about innovation. So it was a bit of an accidental journey, but it's been a very fortuitous one.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. So you've only recently started working within the construction industry in your current role. How's that transition been, and what really drives you now?
So it's because I've worked with a whole different range of industries, I think it's actually been a real pleasure to start working in construction. I found the people remarkably open and honest and direct, which I really appreciate, and actually really engaging in terms of the work that we're doing. We get challenged, absolutely, but that's a really positive thing because it helps shape what we do. And I think because I ask a lot of questions and I want to know what people are doing and why they're doing it and where their challenges are and how perhaps we or others I know can help. So that side of it has actually been a real pleasure. And that engagement and knowing that we're hopefully helping make a difference for those organizations is what makes it exciting and keeps me going.
Yeah, absolutely, which leads us very, very nicely onto Construction Innovation Hub. Can you just briefly explain what that's all about?
Yeah, so the hub is a government funded program. So the funding for that came from the industrial strategy, and the hub itself is here to work with government and with industry to look at possible approaches through digital and through manufacturing. So new processes and approaches to help the built environment that we need delivery of to be done more efficiently, more effectively, looking at ways to improve performance and productivity for the sector. So we're not market players in any capacity. We're actually sort of market enablers. So that collaborative side of it is absolutely key. And collaboration drives innovation. So you get better results more quickly. And that's what the hub is here to actually help catalyze.
That's fantastic. I love that. Collaboration drives innovation. I'll definitely be using that one.
Feel free. It's a good line.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got any examples since you start working there of this collaboration or working with different companies, or how CIH has helped the industry?
Sure. So we actually we work across 4 core programs now, and this has been evolving. So we're in our 4th year of a 4-year program. So we're really getting to the crunch point. But we work with actually hundreds of different organizations, from global giants to micro SMEs and everything you can think of in between. And across those different themes of value, a platform program, information management, and international, we have a whole range of projects, all of which have been built around addressing challenges in the industry and enabling that more efficient and effective approach. So they go from developing the platform program, which is about the adoption of the manufacturing processes. It supports the transforming infrastructure performance roadmap and its requirement to move towards platform approach. The value toolkit is there to actually enable better value-based decision making, so more consistent decisions being made about what is being delivered by who and when. And there's a huge amount of sort of that economic and social value built into that side of the program too. Digital is all about making it more accessible, more intelligent, more intuitive, and feedbacks. That's so important for the continuation of the whole program. And the international relates primarily to BIM, but it's about enabling the reduction in the trade gaps abroad, so bringing the world together more effectively and efficiently.
And I think you mentioned the word challenges there, and I know every industry has their own challenges, but I think now more than ever, it's a challenging time for the construction industry, of which, being part of it myself, I think they're taking that head on and doing a really good job.
Indeed, it's a tough time, but the construction sector has really responded.
Mm,
And actually, it's bizarre, but it has enabled us to be more effective in what we're doing, because people are having to look at how they work and what they do and what we might need to do in the future to be more effective in that. So it's, there's not many sort of highlights and silver linings with
mm.
COVID, but one of them is that it's really driven change.
Yeah, and that's for any industry. But when there's force changes, that's usually when innovation speeds up, and we've certainly seen that across
Yeah.
major industries. Fantastic. So speaking of challenges, or maybe not even challenges, more the positives really. What can we expect from the CIH in the future?
So, as I said, this is a 4-year funded program at the moment, and that runs to September 2022.
Hmm.
So we've just got that sort of 9 and a bit months left. And this is all about getting the tools out there and starting to sort of facilitate how it moves forward. So who is going to own? How is it going to grow? How is it going to be developed? So the next 9 months really exciting. And it will all be about more collaboration, because that's key to it all, but actually sort of seeing how these tools and the approaches are actually being adopted and taken forward and being proved in real world delivery.
Hmm. That's fantastic. That's great stuff. Look forward to seeing those next 9 months as well in collaboration. Where do you? So you've got these 9 months. But where do you expect the construction industry to really change over the coming years?
So I think sometimes it sounds a bit cliche. There's a lot of cliches, let's face it, a lot of catchphrases, but tipping point is one that's being used a lot at the moment. And I think that is actually really true,
Hmm.
because there's been recognition from the government and from industry that things need to change. There's been a huge amount of work across the board, not just with the hub, but across industry, looking at what can be done and how it can be done to enable this more productive environment. And we have got to that point now where we need that to really be deployed on projects. And we're seeing it, but we need proof. We need more. We need evidence. So we need those courageous clients to actually start commissioning things differently, the procurement routes for it, and start to be a bit more adventurous about the new approaches coming through. And that will actually then propagate. So we'll get sort of this critical mass of projects proving the value, proving the opportunity, proving different ways of working. And that will really start to be a snowball effect. So I think it's going to be exciting. Everybody wants change right now. But this is an evolution, you know, it's going to build over the coming years, and it's going to be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, in doing these Kudos lists, that's apparent, and there's a lot of things bubbling up, and a lot of superstars in this industry that are pushing changes, forcing changes in various different categories and the likes. And you can just see it's just that collaboration and that connection of various components before it really starts to snowball, which is really cool to see that starting to evolve.
For sure. It's a really exciting time to be in this industry.
Fantastic. I think that's a really good way to end the conversation in terms of a really exciting time for the industry. I agree with you. Absolutely. So from me and Barbara, ABI, Trudi, thank you so much for everything you do within construction. Hopefully the 9 months goes really, really well. I'm sure it will. And finally, kudos in construction to yourself.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.